So it seems as if this fella, this guy, the Act Man. It seems as if a lot of people want to get my take on his stuff. So I mean, solo reactions, I can get away with a little bit more of the video game oriented conversations, and I'm really interested in this guy's stuff as well, because it seems like he gets into the things that not a lot of people really want to talk about, and if they do, they just kind of glaze over it. So I really appreciate that. Even if I don't agree with the opinion of the person, I still appreciate them going out on a limb to talk about something that, we should be talking about. Like politicizing something as fun and really meant to be an escape from reality as video games, and turning it into a political statement. Now, I understand in different forms of media and entertainment, and even in the world of like nerd stuff, politicizing the storylines has been a big part of it. I mean, Star Trek, the X-Men was, kind of a political statement. The list goes on and on and on. So it's not a deal breaker. But when it's just kind of forced and obvious, and it's kind of like the creators of this content aren't really trying to take a real stand, they just want to be included and like kind of pander to a group, it can be a really shitty stain on the whole situation that nobody really wants to fucking deal with. So I'm really interested to see what the Act Man has to say. This video is a couple years old, but I mean, the train wreck of ridiculousness of pandering has been going on for quite a while, so I'm sure it's still right on the nose with what we deal with to this very day. So, stop politicizing video games by the Act Man. Let's see what he's got to say about this.
What's up, everybody? This is the Act Man here, and today I wanted to talk about something that's been bothering me for quite some time. Now, you all know me as a truly epic gamer, someone who not only plays video games, but takes the time to write scripts and review them and actually get down to the nitty-gritty details of everything that comprises a video game, and examine it and discuss it and talk about its quality, what's good about it, what's awesome, what's bad, that sort of thing. You all know me as the Act Man. But there's something I've come to really loathe about video games, despite how much time I spend playing them, reviewing them, and writing about them. And that's the politicization of video games. Yes, politicization. A word I don't ever want to use again on my channel, because I don't like talking about politics or anything to do with politics. I make videos for fun because I enjoy video games. I'm a normal human being. But there are non-normal people out there, specifically a lot of game journalists, who I pick on from time to time, that will write about video games in a way to elicit a response, or to send a message and drive home a point. Now, I do this too to a certain degree, but I don't bring politics into the discussion unless it's already there. Video games for a long time have been a sort of haven for all sorts of people. Social outcasts, people with disabilities, those who don't have many friends. Video games are a way for people of all walks of life to just come together and enjoy something and be able to play it and discuss it and just have fun and enjoy life. But in these last few years, the glory days of simpler times are starting to slip away. And what we're starting to see is the politicization of video games. Meaning that when a new game comes out, there's people who will write articles or complain and say this game needs to make a point about racial issues in the world today. And then there's people that just want to enjoy this product for what it is. It seems like the game industry, and a lot of people who work in it, and a lot of journalists, a lot of people who write about it, is being hijacked. The game industry is being hijacked by people who want to make the world a better place, by people who feel they are right in what they're talking about. It's being hijacked by people who just want to complain, bicker, and moan, and want to be right about something. And this isn't the type of content I normally post on this channel, but it's just been bugging the shit out of me recently. Seeing all these dumb, stupid, Neanderthalic bullshit articles that people take the time to write and discuss and complain about. And here I am complaining about other people complaining. But it's like, these last few years, there's been so many examples of just dumb shit that it isn't even worth covering. It's not even worth being a story. It shouldn't have even have happened.
Does the recent GTA 5 controversy prove that we need Anita Sarkeesian's feminism? Actually, yeah.
What the fuck?
Are there any glasses in his glasses?
I'm glad this channel died. Like the League of Legends PAX controversy, where Riot employees wanted to close their panel, an open public panel. They wanted to close it to men for a certain period of time. Why? Why? What good does this do? Then there's the Battlefield 5 controversy, where they wanted to put women and all sorts of weird shit into their World War II video game. People complained about it, and they were like, don't like it, don't buy it. We're here doing the right thing. My child needs to be able to play as a female in World War II because I don't have the balls to explain to her that women didn't often fight in World War II. You know, it's shit like that, where game developers are on such a big fucking high horse. They're sniffing their own farts, their own beliefs, and now they're pooping it out all over the rest of us. And this self-righteous bullshit is what's really bugging the crap out of me. Because I don't think it has a place in video games. I think the only thing it really does is sow discourse amongst the greater gaming community. It tears people apart. It tries to separate us into groups. It's bullshit is what it is. I mean, even going so far back as, you know, the shit Anita Sarkeesian, Brianna Wu, and Zoe Quinn were pulling. Going so far back as Gamergate. I mean, the PBS game show channel that was just a clickbaiting, race-baiting, controversial shit channel, to be honest. And it's kind of like what I said in my Battlefield 1 video. There's people that, like, get off on not enjoying something. They get off on complaining about something that isn't really an issue.
I thought it was pretty decent.
Like a black person being on the cover of a World War I video game. Is that really worth complaining about?
No.
And conversely, people who wanted more black stories from a World War I video game, it's just like, enjoy what's there. You know, there's like this growing concept that if you make a game based around war or any part of politics in the past, present, or future, there's like this growing expectation that you have to make a statement with this game. As in, the developers have to put their beliefs and agendas in the game and talk about them. And no, you don't have to do that. You know, there's a difference between a game that has politics in it and bringing politics into a game where it just doesn't belong. Was it really such a big deal for some guy on YouTube to kill a feminist in Red Dead Redemption 2? Was that really a big deal? How is that even newsworthy? How is that even worthy of writing about? How is it even worthy of me talking about it in a serious sense and not just watching it, laughing, and making fun of it,
didn't he?
And understanding the game's mechanics and how complex it is and the things you can do in the game? Why on earth would anyone want to focus on the political side of this video game and this issue? That's kind of what I'm asking.
Jesus.
You know, for a long time, video games were just a haven for people, you know? It's a community that's been bullied and beaten back and targeted and harassed and attacked by all sorts of people, by religious folk, by mainstream news. It's been attacked by people's parents. It's been attacked by the government, Hillary Clinton. It's just like, me as a gamer, at a certain point, I just want this shit to disappear. I don't want these stories to clog up my Twitter feed. I don't want this shit to be so widely discussed about when we're all here to have fun. And yeah, you know, sometimes it's fun to talk shit about a video game that's really bad, you know? Sometimes games are bad. That's fine. But when it becomes a political talking point, that's when I just kind of get sick of this shit, you know? It's like politics are lame, dude. Politics are fucking lame.
Thank you.
They're essential for the function of society, but
you.
they're fucking lame to talk about. I hate talking about politics.
Dude.
Basically what I'm saying is I don't want video games to be about politics. Because at this point, it seems like for game developers, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Witcher 3, a game based on Polish mythology and folklore, was shit on by some douchebag Tariq Musa because it didn't have black people in it. It's like, why can't you talk about the politics within Witcher 3 and not about your own politics, beliefs, and agendas and pushing that onto Witcher 3? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, why not talk about the way Witchers are portrayed in Witcher 3? How the greater realm and world of this game looks at a Witcher. How they're viewed as monsters. And what greater meaning does that have? What greater statement does that say? The fact that there's barely any black people in Witcher 3 isn't an issue. It's not worth talking about. Even back in... This was an issue back in the old days. But you know what? People just didn't really give as much of a shit back then because of the way the world has changed and all that dumb shit. But like, remember Resident Evil 5 being set in Africa and people were freaking out because you were killing black zombies in Africa? And you remember how basically like the whole gaming community came together and was like, you're fucking stupid. The game's set in Africa. You're a fucking idiot. We can kill Spanish zombies. We can kill white zombies, but when we kill black zombies, now it's a problem?
It's in Africa. It's been in Antarctica. It's been, I think, in Spain. It's been in the Midwest. It wasn't racist then. Why should it be racist now? It's in Africa. Have fun with the game. Play the game.
It's like it's never been a problem. There's people that have been trying to make it a problem, and that's the issue. It's just kind of this growing social justice agenda that's really sinking its claws into everything. And it's the right too. It's the right and the left. But I see more of the left bullshit than the right bullshit. Honestly, I think what it is gaming has become so big, so popular, such a big industry, that these parasites just want to latch onto it and create issues where none exist because they have nothing better to do with their lives, you know? They have nothing better to do than complain about Left 4 Dead 2 being set in New Orleans and how they view that as insensitive. They have nothing better to do than complain about what one person does in a video game on Witcher 3 and how he treats an NPC. They have nothing better to do. You know, this goes beyond the whole violence in video games debate that had been going on for years and years, and, you know, in the last 5 years has pretty much disappeared with the disappearance of Jack Thompson. It kind of disappeared with him, you know? But even then, I still felt like everyone was kind of united, like, no, there's no proof that video games cause violence. There's none of this. Video games aren't a real problem for society. I guess I'm just reminiscing about simpler times when our enemies, quote-unquote enemies, were simpler and more easier to identify. It's just like politics and being on the right side, not the right, but the correct side, is just ostracizing people. I mean, 2 years ago, I made some controversial tweets about transgender people. Yes, I regret them. I mean, fuck, you can look them up if you really want to. I regret saying those things. I don't believe those same things now. My thoughts and opinions have changed, but there's still people that hate me for that. For saying some dumb shit on Twitter 2 years ago. It's like, yeah, you know, I shouldn't have said those things. I shouldn't have gotten in this discussion or debate. But the fact that tweets from 2 years ago can actually impact my career and my opportunities and how people see me and perceive me, that's fucking stupid. This politicization of video games is symptomatic of a greater issue facing the world. And that's the issue of people trying to politicize every aspect of society and our culture. I just feel like people want to sink their claws into video games and the video game industry now and push their political ideologies as another way to advance themselves, as another way to validate themselves, to find a group and find an enemy. Bitch, I'm just here to get the fucking nuke in Modern Warfare 2. I'm just trying to get a Killionaire in Halo 3, okay? I'm just trying to pilot a giant blimp in Battlefield 1. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to discuss politics, even though I am right now. And you know, I'm not saying that people shouldn't write their reviews a certain way or their articles a certain way, that we shouldn't talk about politics at all when it comes to video games. I'm not saying that. We all have freedom. We all have the right to discuss what we want to. Sometimes these articles bring up good talking points, and sometimes it's just shit for us all to make fun of, which is entertainment nonetheless. Like the idea that Link should be gay or that Link should be a female, you know? It's dumb shit like that that's entertaining and funny to just make fun of.
Yes.
And I don't deny that sometimes bringing politics into a discussion about video games can lead to some good talking points and discussions. However, most of the time, it just seems like a bunch of shit people say to try to fuel the fires. Clickbait for the sake of clickbait. For the sake of views. For the sake of clicks on a website. I doubt most of these people even believe the things they're writing about. They're just writing about it because it's their job. Because they picked a shitty career. And now it's a mad race for clicks, you know? I think what bugs me is the way it seems like certain companies and individuals are starting to see video games as a tool for pushing an agenda, to get what they want, to advance themselves. They see their games as a way to make a statement instead of a quality product. I think it's this focus on, you know, licking your own balls and smelling your own poop and liking it that's just creating an unhealthy discourse. It creates this them versus us dynamic between gamers when gamers were always banded together against the people who were shitting on video games. That's what it was. That's what it should be. You know, there's this dynamic within game developers and the way they look at content creators, even people like me. You either stay out of it completely or you take their side, or you take the right side, the correct side. Because if not, well, you might not get invited to events because you don't think the same way that they do politically. Is this really going to inspire content creators to speak their mind, to be honest and real? Or is it going to inspire people to just fake like they believe what you believe in order to get in your good favor and go to your game releases and your private events, you know? That's how you get fake people. But if you want real people, if you want good people, then don't give a shit about that kind of stuff. And you know, it's all right if a game developer wants to tackle those issues and wants to do it in a game of their choosing. It's okay if a company as a whole wants to do that. And it's also okay for us to not want to buy it, to not be subjected to that stuff, to not pay for that shit. It's like if you were to look at Nintendo and the way they've conducted their business, you know, since the fucking 80s, it's like they just make video games. Nintendo just makes video games.
Thank you.
That are fun and enjoyable, and they try new things, and they don't have to be political in any sort of way. The developers don't have to push some political message or attack their fans and call them racists and babies and whiners. The people at Nintendo don't get on their fucking high horse and try to jerk off onto the rest of us. They just make video games. I want game developers to just make video games.
Yeah, don't jerk off.
I don't go to
on us.
NFL games to be protested at. I don't play video games to have an agenda forced on me. I go to football games to be entertained. I play video games to be entertained. So, in a nutshell, I just want the game industry as a whole, I want you guys as a whole to not put so much importance and emphasis on beliefs and agendas and politics and the left versus right and trying to pick these stupid battles and complaining about shit that really doesn't matter at the end of the day and nobody's going to care about in a couple weeks. I'm tired of people bringing race, sex, diversity into the game industry and saying it's an issue. I want real issues to be solved. Yes, of course, I do. Real issues like the way Riot Games treated their female employees, that's a real issue. How much clothing video game characters wear? Not a real issue. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm at with everything, folks. I just wanted to rant and vent. I feel like it's good to get it out of your system, you know? Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the Act Man for more awesome content. Alright everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Act Man signing out. Peace!
But as far as the politicization, what do you say it? Politicization of video games, when it's called for, it's called for. Now, one of the things that I do think is kind of stupid is when they go back and they scrub history when you're playing World War II games, when you're playing stuff that's like set in actual history where there's political shit that's going on. I think it's dumb when they change, like they take symbolism away from like the Nazis and stuff like that in video games, because it's like that's what they looked like. those were monsters. Those were the real deal bad guys. Like, why the fuck would you change their insignia? Like, why the fuck would you play a World War II game if you think something about World War II is going to offend you? Don't fucking play it. Why scrub that shit clean of the bad guys? Like, they're the fucking... But now I'm talking about the latest Battlefield, the World War II Battlefield that came out. They have you playing as like a tank commander who's a fucking Nazi, yet they can't show a swastika? Why can't... I don't want to play as a Nazi commander in anything. I would love to be the guy that fucking, throws a hand grenade in there or fucks them up, but I don't want to play... But I don't get that option. If I want to complete all the stories in that game, I have to be like, yay, fuck that. I don't want to do that. But then they take the symbolism from those people. So wait a minute. What? Yeah, man. These people don't even know what the fuck's going on a lot of times when it comes to that pandering shit. It makes no sense. It's like, why would you do one and then the other, like, you're going to fucking take away the swastika, but now you're making me... I have to play as one of these people? Like, that's the character I'm controlling? Fuck off. That makes no sense. So I get what he's saying. Why can't we just have fun games? Like, the shit about Nintendo was 100% legit. They pretty much just roll with entertaining folks and don't try to make a statement outside of, if you steal our shit, we will sue you. That's their big statement. Which is really interesting to think about all the shit that's been going on with Sony of America and PlayStation in America, where they've like changed up certain things for people to settle people down, and like, oh, these girls are too scantily clad and all this shit. And then you go on like fucking the eShop of the Switch, and they've got some really questionable fucking games on there that I never would have thought that I would ever see on a Nintendo system. So I don't know, man. Like, I agree. Politics is just fucking bullshit, because a lot of these talking heads and media outlets and shit, like, that are trying to be SJW social panderers right now, you look back on the shit that they were saying in 80s, and the very people that they're trying to protect, they were demonizing and building, legislation up to put them in prison for their entire lives on like fucking one offense and shit. And now they're all, about reform and stuff. It's like, yeah, thank God somebody's about reform, considering the exact policies that these motherfuckers put in place and were, talking about being the greatest thing ever. At least in the video game community, when people are talking shit back in the day about games and stuff, they were just being real. It was more of a warning. It's like, don't go spend your money on this because the game's busted. It just fucking sucks. Now it's because of like, well, I just couldn't connect to the main character because it was this, and I can't... It's like, motherfucker, I can't associate myself with Solid Snake. I'm not Samus. I enjoyed those guys. I'm not fucking, a Battletoad. Play the game. Have fun. Like, it is what it is. It is what it is. Like, I saw somebody talking about the new Shin Megami Tensei game, and they were just like, oh my God, my beating heart. Because they were excited that the main character looks kind of effeminate. I'm like, that's your takeaway from a game about demons that come from the digital world and the apocalypse and all this fucking badass shit that's going on in Shin Megami Tensei? Your big takeaway and happiness is the fact that the main character is what I guess they're assuming is a male and has long hair and has like a beautiful face, I guess. Like, I just don't fucking get why the injection of all of these agendas needs to be put into the gaming space when it don't even make any fucking sense. Like, when shit makes sense, I'm all 100% about it. And I'm down playing whatever. Tomb Raider was badass. Who did not fucking enjoy Tomb Raider? Anybody? I thought it was a great game. Even Nikki loves Tomb Raider. I think it's the second one where you can put the butler in the freezer. I think everybody did that. Yeah, I mean, it's fucked up, but I think everybody locked that son of a bitch in the freezer. But, you know, I never thought about, oh, it's Tomb Raider. I always thought it was cool as shit. And then, you know, I mean, it's like every game going back, there was like representation, and it wasn't like when I saw Jax in Mortal Kombat, I wasn't like, oh wow, I just thought there's this ripped dude with steel arms. It's a fucking badass. When I saw Trinity in the Matrix, you know, she comes out when she's first showing up, she's kicking fucking ass. I'm like, yes. When I first saw Spawn, I was like, yes. You know, I mean, it's just like, entertainment doesn't have to be pandering to be inclusive. It can be organic. And there are a lot of characters out there to draw from that, I mean, even already exist, or make new ones, or whatever. You know, there's plenty of ways to navigate the waters of inclusion and just respecting and appreciating the enrichment that is there because of different cultures and different types of people, without tokenizing or demeaning a fan base, or just shitting all over something, or scrubbing history, or, you know, the politicization of video games and all entertainment and media included. Hey, we're all here. Give them the parts. Make shit for, you know, the audience the way that they want to be entertained, not the way you think you need to fucking educate them. I thought that was really interesting, the point that he brought up about The Witcher. Because it's kind of like what I mentioned about the X-Men, right? As I understand it, and maybe I'm wrong about this, maybe you guys can fill me in, but the X-Men was built based around the ideas from the civil rights movement, and, you know, the government against the rights of these mutants and stuff like that. And it really makes it like, it makes it easy to just like kind of see how that same type of scenario of excluding people and making them less than and all this stuff, even like, you know, you put that burden on superheroes who are just so cool, and just, you know, we get to know them and everything. It brings that to the forefront in a way that doesn't make you feel like the finger is being, you know, pointed at people in a way that we can't just learn from it and try to fix that in our own lives when we see it. It's kind of like, yeah, damn, you don't even have to think about it. You know that that's wrong when you see it happening to the X-Men and the mutants that have these powers and shit. Like, you don't even have any kind of agenda attached to it. It's just entertainment. And then you can see the parallel in real life, and it's like, damn, man, that was brilliant. And what a way to frame that conversation, you know, because I mean, back in that time, even bringing up that conversation was even more of a problem, and it was just even more recently that fucking bad. So I thought that the Witcher 3 conversation was really interesting, because then here you have the Witchers, everybody's spitting at them, talking shit about them. Oh, but when they need them, you know, and it's just like, what a way to put something like that. What a way to put out the concept that looking down on, feeling more superior than, dehumanizing others and stuff, it's just bad. And it's just ugly and heinous. And you see that in The Witcher 3. And you see a lot of things in The Witcher 3. But you see that in The Witcher 3. And I think that is super on the nose for the points that he was bringing up. And it's also on the nose that, you know, like, sometimes shit just needs to be fucking left out of things. And there have been some pretty fucked up things in video games in the past, and I think that, you know, there is some progress that has been made in the right direction to clean things up. And like you said, it's left and right, it's both sides that the extremes are just raging on, and they're the loudest voices in the room, drowning out the sane ones that are at least trying to fucking make it to the end of our lifetimes. But yeah, get that shit out of video games. What the fuck? I mean, if it's called for to a certain degree, if it's a great element to the plot and it makes the video game good, yes. But if you're just trying to fucking shoehorn that stuff in and try to influence some people, that's kind of fucked up. And if you're doing it to make money off of a disenfranchised group of people, then you're even more fucked up. But at the end of the day, a game's a game. People need to chill out. I had fun watching this video. I hope you did too. Go ahead and give the Ackman some love. We're going to have a link in the description to his channel, to this very video. So go check him out. Give him some love. If you watched this video and enjoyed it, maybe you could give us a like. That would be pretty cool. You could subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and there is even a Discord link that will be down in the description where you can get on our Discord and recommend reaction videos just like this video, which was recommended to us on our Discord. So, check out the channel, look through the other videos. I make a lot of reaction videos with my girlfriend Nikki. Sometimes our dog Shorty pops up. We do live streams. I am a punk rock musician and a professional wrestler. There will also be live streams of some of the events that I've done here recently. So yeah, feel free to check all that out. I'm glad you watched this video, and I will see you next time.